According to Jim Trotter, Eagles general manager Howie Roseman was given the chance to match the Detroit Lions' offer to CJ Gardner Johnson and passed. Was that a terrible mistake? And Jalen Hurts' contract negotiations have started back up. Could a deal be coming soon? Plus, find out what Marcus Mariota had to say about his role in Philly. But first, let's run it. Josh Davis here, and I hope you all had a great weekend. Please make sure to like and subscribe. By the way, we've got a jersey giveaway, so if you want a Philadelphia Eagles jersey, I've got more on that in a second. But the big news coming out late last night, CJ Gardner Johnson signed with the Lions, and you see there, the deal was broken initially by Tom Pelissero saying the Lions signing CJ Gardner Johnson to a one-year deal, $8 million, 6.5 fully guaranteed. His agent, Kevin Connor of Unisports Management, confirmed the deal, and it reunites him with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn. We remember that Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn were with him in New Orleans, so it's a familiar, comfortable territory, but this was an absolute shock, and I thought that he would be here. I've said it on many shows, and I'll admit that I was wrong. I thought that there was no way CJ Gardner Johnson would be leaving the Eagles, and yet here he is. But what was the really controversial part, and you may have already seen this, but Universal Sports Management tweeted much like CJ Gardner Johnson has, and I wonder if they should have deleted this tweet, but you see it on the screen. Here it says, perception versus reality. 1 year real versus 3 years fake. Which sounds better to you? And it has two options here. One-year deal, $8 million, or two, 3-year deal, $24 million max with a $17 million in year 3. Which one you taking? Mic drop. Now, come on, you've got to be kidding me. You can go through and read through the comments. They're quite ridiculous, but as a professional sports agency, I mean, yeah, you want to represent your player, and I guess you could say they're representing CJ Gardner Johnson better than anyone else by tweeting this info out there, but to me, it screams unprofessionalism. I mean, you're actually just putting this out there of, hey, here were the options. This is what took place. It's a ridiculous deal and a terrible argument, in my opinion, to be made. But the bigger story coming out just recently, Jim Trotter of the NFL Network said that the Eagles had the opportunity to match. Now, at first, I didn't think this was possible, but take a look at this.
Yeah, you know, Andrew, what's really shocking here is that CJ Gardner Johnson was on the market this long. We're talking about a 25-year-old playmaking, versatile safety. And I understand it's a depressed market, but from this standpoint, I'm surprised as well how the Eagles handled this. Number one, they offered him a 3-year backloaded contract for a maximum of $24 million, and $17+ million of that was in year 3. So why would CJ Gardner Johnson take that? But I'll say this to you. This speaks to the value they placed on the player. The Eagles were given an opportunity to match that 1-year, $8 million offer to Gardner Johnson, and they declined. So clearly he did not fit into their plans, which is shocking because this is one of the more talented young safeties in the game today.
Howie, you didn't sign CJ Gardner Johnson. Okay, maybe I'm by myself in this, and you guys let me know in the comments below. What do you think about the CJ Gardner Johnson going to the Lions? But Howie had the opportunity to match. I mean, when the reports first came out late yesterday, and we did the live show with Thomas Mott. If you didn't see that, go check that one out. But it was initially being reported that it was $12 million per year and thinking maybe a 3 for 36 or something like that. And so that made a little bit more sense of like, okay, see that Howie made the effort to try to sign CJ Gardner Johnson. But now what we're hearing, according to Jim Trotter, is the Eagles didn't match? Really? Seriously? Howie had the opportunity to match 1 year for $8 million and he wouldn't do it. But he signed Fletcher Cox for $10 million. Okay, I may be alone. I don't know. I'd love to know what you guys think, but I'm sorry. For me, sitting here personally, I think this is a huge miss. A lot of people can say he wasn't worth it. Nope, he's not worth it. But to me, to not go out there and say, yeah, you know what, 1 year, $8 million, that's fine. I thought it was CJ Gardner Johnson not wanting to have a smaller deal because, yeah, if you look at those numbers, he was going to get, what, $3.5 million on year 1, $3.5 million in year 2, and then $17 million in year 3. Okay, sure, I can understand. That makes a little bit more sense. He wants a little bit more money up front. He's going to make $8 million this year versus $3 million or $3.5 million. But still, the NFL is a league where injuries happen. So to not bet on yourself long-term and just to say, you know what, hey, we're going to go 1 year and I'm going to get a bigger deal, that's telling. That's interesting that he does that. But curious to know what you guys think. What do you think? Was this a failure? Was this a failure on Howie's part, or was this good? Should we be happy that we're passing and moving on from him at this point? Let me know in the comments below. The other question too is good teams don't pass from great players. So it's also a little bit telling the fact that CJ Gardner Johnson can't seem to stick with a team for very long. So we know there's emotional issues. He can be immature. He's childish at times or a lot of the times, but it's not like he had bad beef with any of the players. I mean, in fact, A.J. Brown wished him well. There's several other players that have wished him well, said congratulations on the contract. It's something that we don't really want to see, or for the most part, what I've seen, nobody wants to see him go. But yet, here he is.
Fans are pissed off at the Eagles that you're here and not back in Philly. Should they be, and were you disappointed that
I'm not disappointed. I mean, went to the Super Bowl. I mean, obviously we didn't win it, but I mean, the experience I had, I don't have no bad blood. I mean, people overreacted with a tweet and free agency, but it was never disrespectful towards organization. Organization treats me like family. It's just, you gotta do what's best for your family. That's all it is.
I've got to side with CJ. If the Eagles weren't willing to sign 1 year for $8 million, okay, peace, I'm gone. I hate it. Let me know what you guys think, though. You can tell I can't get over this. This is, to me, is a huge miss. Now, you got to move on, and there's other options, and it'll be curious to see what the Eagles do. But you speak of other contracts, and so there's rumors, you guys may have seen this, but Jalen Hurts, we might get a contract offer soon. So what am I talking about? There's rumors from Bleacher Report, and this came from Aaron Walsh, but it says Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia hold initial conversations for contract extension. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but basically it came from ESPN's Dan Graciano from This Morning on SportsCenter, and he said, quote, he was a second-round pick, so they do not have a fifth-year option for him in 2024. So there's a little more urgency with his negotiations than there is with some of these other guys. I'm told there have been initial conversations, and I would expect the Eagles and Jalen Hurts to find a path to a contract extension at some point this offseason, end quote. Okay, so it doesn't say exactly the timing and what we would do there, but it is interesting that now these conversations are resurfacing, and we had been curious because the initial reports were that Jalen Hurts would get a contract signed by the Combine or relatively close around that time period, but then free agency happened, and I think we all assumed, well, Howie's just dealing with the free agents first, which is perfectly fine, but now we're starting to get reports of this, so it wouldn't surprise me if a deal gets done very soon, because I think both sides understand Jalen Hurts is obviously a very key, crucial, number one piece of your organization, and you're building around him, and he's a natural-born leader. So this deal will get done. I don't see Jalen playing hardball. Maybe he does, but I think that he's going to be like, you know what? I'm getting my market value, but he's not going to press it to the max. We're not going to get this drama like we got with CJ Gardner Johnson. So thumbs up for that. Thumbs up for Jalen and not being a diva. He is a fantastic number one quarterback in the NFC. In the NFL, you could argue very close with Patrick Mahomes, but I'm excited to see a deal get done. Looking forward to seeing those numbers, so we'll be sure to have that for you. I mentioned a way to win an NFL jersey, so let me get to that real quick. There's a chance to win an NFL jersey on draft night. Thomas Mott and myself will be having a live show, much like we do every Wednesday, the Wednesday link, and from now until draft night, every Wednesday, if you join on there, you're subscribed to my channel and Thomas's channel, and you drop a super chat, that will enter you for entries and a chance to win an NFL jersey or a Philadelphia Eagles jersey for whoever the number one pick is at the 10th pick, or how he trades it back, whoever it is. The first pick the Eagles take off the board will be a jersey sent to you. We're gonna have a random drawing for whoever gets that entry, but that is your chance. So make sure to join every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. We'll have the live show there. We're also gonna be having live shows that Thursday, first night of the draft, and Friday. So we'll be giving away lots of prizes, drawings, giveaways. Very excited for that. But thumbs up for that. Make sure to join. Okay, so continuing on though, speaking of Jalen Hurts, a natural-born leader, Marcus Mariota spoke about what he thinks about Jalen Hurts, and for the first time, really what he feels or how he feels about being in Philly and his role to play.
To continue a lifelong dream is such a blessing, and I'm very excited to be a part of this team. I'm looking forward to helping in any way that I can. Jalen's coming off an incredible year, and to be a part of that room and hopefully to help him get better and to make the team better is something that I think is a really cool opportunity. It was really cool. Jalen reached out to me right after we had agreed, and I told him, like, look, man, I'm here for you. At the end of the day, these experiences I think are so valuable, and I think that's what I bring to a team like Philadelphia. Is I've been a starter. I've won a playoff game. I've been benched. I've been a backup. I've been hurt. I've kind of gone through a list of things that, one, has allowed me to relate to a lot of guys, but two, just bring experience that guys can talk to, because it's never easy, right? The NFL is such an ugly business. It's a beautiful game, but it's an ugly business. And to be able to be a sounding board for people, to be able to share like, hey, I was a part of something like that, and maybe this is how we should go about it. And I think those things are so valuable because it is. I think when the team is closer, when the team believes in one another, ultimately in the end, you're going to find ways to win football games.
I agree. I love it. And when a team plays together, you heard what he said right there, when a team is playing together, when they have that camaraderie, that chemistry, that buying in attitude, and at the heart and soul of that is Jalen Hurts. So love that Mariota, and thumbs up for Mariota there, because he's buying into the culture. He obviously realizes what his role is, but like he just said, he's like, I'm here for you. He's there for Jalen. And so he recognized that. He's not obviously coming here to compete for a starting job. He knows what his role is at this point, but I loved the signing from day one. I love it even better hearing this from Mariota, and that he understands the culture. And obviously that's probably why the Eagles even consider. They knew that he understands his role. There's not going to be any issues there. So lastly, just taking a look here, because I always try to recap as we can as the comp picks and draft picks and everything else change. But this was from Bleeding Green Nation, just to kind of get an overall recap, obviously with the CJ news and everything there, what we're looking at for the draft picks this year and the future. So this article was from Brandon Lee Gouton. As you see here, the draft picks in 2023, there's obviously the 2 first rounds, the 10th and the 30th, 2nd, 3rd, and 2 7th. So we know that. But what does it change for 2024? It's a first round, 2nd round, which are the own picks, 2 from New Orleans, 3rd of our own pick. There's also the 3rd projected compensatory pick for losing Javon Hargrave. There's also a 4th of our own, 5th from Minnesota Vikings, 5th of our own, a 5th for a compensatory pick for Isaac Seumalo, a 5th for Dillard, a 6th from our own, or Tennessee, whichever is the favorable, and then also a 6th compensatory pick for CJ Gardner Johnson. So that is 12 picks in 2024. Now, I know what I said about CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm going to give unfortunately a bad grade to Howie on that last one, but I still think that he's hit home runs in many areas of this free agency period. Plus you get the 2024 picks, the 12. Thumbs up for that. That's fantastic. Howie understood what he's doing there is we've got to create cap space. Jalen's deal is about to get done, and we are drafting or stockpiling up for the future. So this draft is going to be great. There's fewer picks, obviously, but next year you're looking at 12, plus maybe some more deals get done, or you're trading up or getting better equity in the draft. So very much looking forward to that. But it'll be exciting to see what transpires, other news that comes out, and really taking a look at what do we have for the rest of the offseason. So make sure to tune in again on Wednesday, the Wednesday link with Thomas Mott of the Thomas Mott Show. It'll be on his channel. I'll have a description and a link in the description, definitely on the day of, but probably over the next couple of days. So make sure to subscribe to both. Join that, your chance to win an NFL jersey. Appreciate you guys joining. Make sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Josh Davis, and this has been the Philly Special.